I really loved the way that it was shot. A lot of the shots were through the camera that the girls were using, and I thought that was a really interesting way to show their perspective as they're walking together, what they focus on, what they're seeing through this camera. So I thought that was cool how the editing changed the way that the scene was shot and how that looked. It was a cool effect. I think a lot of us encountered girls like this in our elementary school days. Girls that would pick on things about you that to make themselves feel better, and girls that were deeply insecure, wanting to lift themselves up at the expense of their so-called friends. It's a universal experience, I think, and this film did a really great job of exploring that within these two girls, how they were good friends, but there was some toxicity there between them. And I loved that at the end, our main character broke away from that. And you can sort of see her freedom with the bubbles in the forest, to see her finally break free.
I think these characters were written really well, written really succinctly in a way that balances each other. You see this development of a shift in power, or a shift in almost conflict in a way between the two, as you see a more docile character, and how those roles almost flip throughout. I think the pacing of this was really great. I think a lot of transitions were really good. There were a lot of really interesting shots, but I think most of all, what really stood out was the writing for these characters. I think they played really well with each other. I think they were acted really well, and it came together to be a really cohesive piece, and give and take, and watching that growth in between the two characters.
I just love the performances of the two main characters. One is obviously forceful and dominant, the other more sensitive and passive, at least initially. The camera work is quite thoughtful throughout, with lots of observant zoom-in close-up shots of such items as school feet, bubbles, litter on the ground, and swaying grasses. What made this film memorable for me was the use of video cam footage in amongst the regular film footage, with the sound changing accordingly to create a feeling of canned to live to canned to live, which mirrored their relationship based on half-truths. The writing of the story was so well done. I really liked the touching ending.
This drama was told in a very subtle way. The two actresses, I thought, performed their roles so well, and the shorter woman especially really had a lot of expression that made us think twice in her reactions to her friends' criticisms. They have fun in the park together, but as we get near to the end of the story, we see that our shorter girl starts to feel manipulated or used. And the expression on her face before she chucks the bracelet off of the hillside is very interesting. I like how the filmmaker utilized every trail and step of this outdoor park location.
This was really cool. I liked the relationship between the two of them. It made it really intriguing because they seemed like they were frenemies, if that makes sense. It doesn't seem like they were really, really close friends. The cinematography I thought was great. I loved the way they incorporated the camcorder and what they did with the camcorder shots when each of the girls was like filming stuff. I thought that was really cool.
I love these young actresses' performances. It felt quite natural, and the script was sensible and realistic, where we go and explore these big feelings that these young people are learning to navigate their emotions and learning to identify them and express them in an appropriate way. It was great. I love the music and the location. It's just a very smooth piece with friendship and jealousy, and a very interesting match with how would you react.
I really like the main actresses, the two main characters. They really are on point on what they do. We see the conflict within them. I can feel it, the conflict. I think there was a great chemistry between them, and I really liked also the story, how she ends up basically fighting with her best friend, but then she just stops and looks back because she doesn't want to be lonely, and maybe she didn't do what she did wasn't what she intended to. This final regret that we have, I think it was very well done, and overall it was a very well directed and structured